Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Stuart Bishop from Bishop Mental Health and Wellness in beautiful Chicago, Illinois, and I want to welcome you to tonight's video. Basically, the subject is coping skills. This is one of the most important concepts in mental health care, but it also applies to physical health. By coping skills, we're referring to certain techniques that each of us can use to lower stress, lower anxiety, improve our feeling of well-being, etc. Now, there is also a concept that is tied into coping skills, which is homeostasis. Homeostasis basically refers to a central state where we are not too agitated on the one hand, but we are also not too lackadaisical on the other hand. We're sort of in the center, if you will. And one of the objectives of using coping skills is to help us maintain that central focus that biology labels homeostasis. And we'll talk much more about that in this and future videos. Now, with regards to the coping skills, there are essentially 9 of them that we like to use here at our clinic. There are others. Tonight we're going to be talking about each one of these in general terms, and then there are subsequent videos that you can tune into for each of these topics individually. Now, the first technique is good sleep hygiene. And there is a related issue to sleep hygiene, and that is called circadian rhythm. Now, circadian rhythm in English refers to the circle of the day, and it is referring to the 24-hour cycle of sunrise, daylight, sunset, darkness, and sunrise again. And the way our species is designed, we are actually designed to be awake and to be sleeping in conjunction with the sun. We now know that right in the center of the brain is a cluster of nerves called the master body clock. And that cluster of nerves is where the 2 optic nerves meet. We have a left eyeball and a right eyeball, and right behind them is a very important nerve called the optic nerve. These 2 nerves meet in the center of the brain, and that area where they meet is the master body clock, and right underneath that is the pituitary gland, the master gland of the hormonal system. Essentially, we are designed to wake up when our eyes detect daylight, because that message of daylight travels along the optic nerve to the body clock, and it triggers a cascade of energetic hormones in the morning, including, amongst others, adrenaline. Now at night, when the sun goes down, our body clock is designed to detect the darkness, and that message is a message to the body clock to begin to dial down the adrenaline and turn on another molecule of the night known as melatonin. The bottom line of all of this is, as it relates to sleep hygiene, we are designed to wake up when the sun rises, and we're designed to go to start to relax and go to bed after the sun goes down. There are a lot of ways that this is short-circuited in modern America. We have 24/7 television, laptops, cell phones, street lights, etc. And all of this illumination is a powerful disruptor of our quality sleep. And getting back to this term of sleep hygiene, if you'll look at the video that we have on that topic, you will find 15 different methods that you can use to improve the quality of your sleep. And this is an absolutely essential process while we're sleeping, that's when our immune system and our tissue restoration system is most active. And so if you're not getting adequate sleep, you can imagine your immune system is substandard. So, and that's just one of many reasons to get that good quality sleep. That will in turn help you with irritability during the day. It will give you more stamina and more energy to deal with the stresses of the day. Now, the second technique for powerful coping skills is a centering meditation. Now, there is an important concept related to this called the ANS, or the autonomic nervous system. And within the concept of the autonomic nervous system, there is another concept called homeostasis. Now, the ANS is the nervous system that runs in the background. For example, I'm voluntarily raising my hands right now, but I'm not voluntarily beating my heart. That is being taken care of automatically. I'm not adjusting my body temperature. I'm not adjusting my blood pressure or my rate of respiration. All of this is being handled by an amazing system called the autonomic nervous system. Now, this system has two branches. One is called sympathetic, and that's the active branch that is active during the day. At the very extreme end of the sympathetic nervous system, we have something called fight or flight. That's when we are in a very powerful mode, able to take on great challenges, but we are also typically fairly focused and anxious, and in some cases rather irritable and angry. We need that reflex occasionally, but it is way overused in modern America. I'm sure you've heard of the concept of road rage. That's an example where somebody goes into fight or flight over a simple problem driving. And so we need to be very careful to moderate this fight or flight response in order to calm our organs, calm our psychic state. Now, the other side of the autonomic nervous system is called parasympathetic. This is the system that is at work when we are calm, when we are resting and sleeping. One of the labels of it is rest and digest. It's the time when we're sleeping, digesting. It's the time when the immune system is most active. Now, the really important concept for us to grasp as far as centering meditation goes is what's in the middle between these two extremes. And that area in the middle is known as homeostasis. To give you an example of homeostasis, that would be 120/80 as far as blood pressure goes. That would be under 16 as far as respiration, under 100 as far as heart rate. In other words, these are regarded as indicators of a sense of calm. And we will demonstrate in another video, which you really need to watch, this centering meditation itself. Now, the meditation is best done first thing in the morning when you first wake up, because we are never closer to homeostasis than when we first wake up in the morning. That's before we start worrying about our to-do list and about all the things that we have to take care of today. Right at that moment when you first wake up, that's when we want you to practice your centering meditation. So please go to that video on this subject. Now, importantly, once you master the centering meditation, which it does not take much time at all, it's very simple and very natural. Essentially what you've done is you have found your homeostatic center. And the key for all of these coping skills is to come back to that homeostatic center every couple of hours or so throughout the day. That will keep you rooted in that central area where you're not too overly agitated or anxious, but you're also not too lethargic. You're in that middle where you're alert, you're aware of things, but you keep your anxiety at arm's length, and you basically deal with things in a sensible prioritization. Okay, and we'll speak much more about that, a very important technique to use. Now, the third technique is goal setting and priority planning. Extremely important. We always tell our clients that no matter what's going on today, whether things are going great or things not going great, please don't lose sight of the big picture. Because by having a goal, basically we're able to keep things in perspective. Now, what I recommend is having some concept of a distant goal, and 10 years is a good time frame. Be looking out 10 years and saying, okay, where do I want to be in 10 years? And then work backwards to the present moment with your priority planning. And ask yourself, what do I need to do step by step by step to get to that distant goal? And the time frame that we recommend for your priority planning is a season or a semester, if you will. And we will have much more to say about goal planning in the video on that subject. The great thing about goals, ladies and gentlemen, is that it gives us a reason for why we're doing what we're doing. It gives us a reason for why we are, why we're rushing around, why we have these long to-do lists. We would like to encourage you to have all of those businesses tied into your long-term goal, so that when it tends to give us a sense of confidence that we're doing things for a reason, for a purpose, and as you achieve your goals, of course, that's great for your self-esteem. Now, last word I mentioned about goals right now. They should be high, but they should be achievable. We have clients that say, well, I want to be the next the rock star, or the next movie star, or the next MMA fighter, fill in the blank. And these are all fantastic objectives, but they have a very low chance of success. We recommend that you set your goals very high, but you set them such that they can be achieved. And we'll have much more to say on the video on goal setting. Now, the next one is education. The brain is literally a learning machine. And anytime you set out to learn something new, your brain literally forms new neural connections called synapses. Basically, your brain strengthens itself. And the old adage you've heard, use it or lose it. The body will not sustain parts that it doesn't use, and so we strongly encourage you to use that brain to educate yourself, and keep in mind that your education will then tie into your goals. For example, for your career goals, nothing underlies career improvement like education. Again, it gives you a great sense of accomplishment and self-esteem, and it gives you more tools to use in our busy, complex lives. Okay, the next one is exercise. Now, there are several aspects of exercise we want to emphasize. One is that it be aerobic, and here we're looking at least 30 minutes a day of activity that raises your heart rate for at least 30 minutes, at least 3 to 4 times a week. Now, this activity can come in many forms, but a couple of the other characteristics that we strongly encourage, one is hand-eye coordination. So in your aerobic activity, we recommend those exercises that involve coordination of the hand and eyes, and that could be any sport, such as tennis, shooting baskets, the martial arts, dance, any of those type of techniques. If you're just out taking a brisk walk, make sure that your head is moving and you're taking in the landscape. Interestingly, there's a technique called EMDR. This is one of the most potent therapies out there for post-traumatic stress disorder. And EMDR was discovered quite by accident, But basically it involves movement of the eyes. We find that movement of the eyes is very, very relaxing to the human being. That's also what goes on when we're dreaming. You've probably heard of REM sleep, or rapid eye movement sleep. And we'll get into much more of why that rapid eye movement is so healthy for us in the videos on that subject. Now, also stretching exercises. Obviously the classic one there is yoga, but you could also be doing Tai Chi. Anything that involves slow, purposeful, relaxing, stretching, very, very healthy for mind and body. Now, next is participation in the arts. And you'll notice the term participation is underlined here. It's great to go to a concert and listen to your favorite band play the music you love, but it's even healthier to actually play an instrument yourself or to sing. Some studies show that singing can add years to our lives, so for a number of reasons. So the key there is participation. You don't have to be a world-class guitarist to pick up a sixth string and just enjoy strumming away on it. A drum circle, a very, very healthy technique that you can organize in your local community. Now, that's music, but we could also be talking about painting or sculpture, where again, you're involved and you're doing it. That's the key. You're participating in whatever art form you enjoy. Could also be writing, could be gardening, could be needlepoint, could be poetry or writing. And one of the reasons why participation in the arts is so effective is that essentially it involves the right side of the brain. The left side of the brain tends to be the side that worries about formulas and money and numbers, whereas the right side has more of those artistic images and ideas that inspire us and charm us. And when you participate in the arts, you activate those regions of the right brain. And essentially you involve both sides of the brain, and you've heard of that whole brain solution terminology. So by participating in the arts, that's one of the benefits that you get there. Next is laughter. Very underappreciated. How therapeutic it is. You know, we all love to laugh and we like to listen to great jokes, etc. But do we ever consider it to be therapy? But in fact, it really is. We have 12 very important nerves that run from the center of our brain to our face. These nerves are called the cranial nerves. And when you think about it, these are the nerves that control our expression. They lift our forehead, they rotate our eyes, they open and close our jaw, our tongue, they lift our shoulders, etc. Everything in this upper pole is controlled by those 12 cranial nerves. Now, these nerves originate in the mood regions of the brain, the central and lower regions of the brain, where our emotions essentially reside. So, the expression that we have on our face tends to reflect how we feel inside. And the reason that that expression reflects how we feel inside is because of the 12 cranial nerves. So if I'm feeling sad, I may have a sad expression on my face. If I'm feeling serious and angry, it may be a very stern look. Again, these are emotions that are projected from how I'm feeling inside to my face. However, we now know that the reverse is true. You can actually change how you feel inside by changing your external expression. We'll have much more to say about this in the video on laughter, but essentially this was one of the places this evolved was India. There was a group of people who lived in a condominium area outside of Mumbai, and they would go down during the day to the beach and work out together. Well, one day somebody told some jokes and people laughed about it and really enjoyed it. The next day, more jokes, more laughter. Eventually, they didn't do much workout anymore. They just went down and joked. And eventually, they didn't even joke. They just went down and laughed together. And they found that they felt fantastic. And so we, here at Bishop Mental Health and Wellness, we recommend that you spend a few seconds or a minute or so a couple times a day just in purposeless laughter. Just change that expression to laughter, a good belly laugh for just a few seconds will feed back into how you're feeling inside. And make that a regular technique that you use every day, just along with your centering meditation, your goal setting, getting good quality sleep, and you can see how you can really take charge of your mood rather than letting your mood take charge of you. Next item is body work. Now, the big one there is massage, but it could also be acupuncture, reflexology, and other techniques. Whenever we have hands-on work on our tissues, we release a molecule called endorphin, which is a feel-good molecule, and body work just makes us feel like we're taken care of. And a very, very relaxing, potent technique. We recommend that you have at least one massage per week, ideally. It does not have to be a professional massage. It does not have to be a head-to-toe 90-minute deal. It could be a simple head rub, neck rub, shoulder rub, foot rub, etc. And you do not have to go to a professional. You could just simply trade off with a family member or a friend. But a very, very potent technique, and we're going to have much more to say about that in the future. And we also want to point out a technique that we are very, very confident in, and this is a technique called Rolfing. And you can find out more about that at rolf.org. This is a technique that's been around now for over 50 years. And with tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people have gone through this process. A very, very potent technique for both physical and mental health. And again, we'll talk much more about that in our video segment on body work. Now, last but not least, vacation, a getaway. No matter how good or bad things are going, we essentially create kind of a rut for ourselves or a routine for ourselves over a period of time. And by taking a vacation, we get to look back at our lives and kind of see what is it that I need to really work on? What are the things that are going well? What are the things I need to change? And nothing gives us a better perspective on that than a vacation. And it does not have to be a trip around the world. It can be just a weekend getaway to the next town or to a state park. You have different sounds, smells, sights, etc. And those are refreshing, new stimuli. And meanwhile, you're able to look back at everything at home and kind of come back home repurposed with things that, you know, with a level of motivation for things that you want to work on. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you found this video informative, and please hit that download button on our website if you want to get the companion piece here, and then look at the individual videos on each one of these subjects for much more detail. Again, from everybody here at Bishop Mental Health and Wellness, I want to wish you to have a very nice day. Thank you.